Cheers! Well, you guys, it's time for a little bit of a celebration because today is the first day of December. And I've told you guys before how I feel about winter in Holland. Rain and cold and... But the only good thing about this season, I think, is this month. Because December just kind of makes winter a little bit warmer, right? This month, there's one thing that you really need, and that is like a fancy dress. Okay, because you're gonna go maybe to several parties, you're gonna go to like dinners and stuff like that. So it's nice to have just a dress that's like fancy that you can wear to all of these occasions. So that's what we're gonna make today. I gotta be quite honest with you guys, it's not gonna be the easiest dress. This might be the most difficult project that I did thus far, but remember, I've only been sewing a year and a half myself, so without any like classes or how do you say it, like lessons. So it's not super easy, but it's also not extremely hard. So without further ado, take a sip of your whatever kind of sparkling drink you have, don't spill it all over yourself. And yeah, let's get started. So you're gonna need your fabric. I bought about 2 meters of satin. Then you'll need your threads in a matching color, fabric scissors, some pins, measuring tape, and a dress that fits you tightly, and your sewing machine. And you'll also need a safety pin. So this is my fabric folded one time in the length, and I'm just gonna fold it another time. Now fold your fitting dress in half and lay the fold of the dress on the fold of the fabric. Make sure you have about 20 centimeters of fabric above the top of your dress. Now you can use chalk or pins for this, but in any way mark down the silhouette of your dress onto the fabric. Once you've done that, it should kind of look like this. Now add 20 centimeters to the top of the marking of your dress. Now I'm pinning down about 60 centimeters under the bottom of the dress. And I just say you can better make the dress longer than shorter because you can always later cut some off, but you cannot like cut some fabric on, if you know what I mean. Now I'm going to add 3 centimeters to the silhouette of the dress just to make sure I have some seam allowance and also that it doesn't fit too tightly. And same goes for this part, it's better to make it a little bit too big than too small. As you can see here, I pinned it a little bit bigger now than my template dress. Now you can cut out your silhouette. Alright, now your silhouette should kind of look like this now. Moving over to making the straps, I'm measuring it here at about, I think I'm gonna take 90 centimeters, but I know that that's way too short, so take about 140 centimeters or something like that. Now fold that at about 2.5 centimeters and pin it down. Cut off the excess fabric. So before you stitch the ends together, make sure the good sides of the fabric are facing towards each other and the bad sides are facing towards you. As you can see, I've stitched it and I've zigzag stitched the ends to make sure that the fabric doesn't fray. Now attach a safety pin to the end of your strap and pull it through the rest of your strap till you reach the other end. take out your safety pin and then kind of push the end of the strap into the strap, if that makes sense, so you don't see the ugly end. Now I'm just gonna sew across this strap to close it up. Alright, so back to the dress. This is gonna be the front of the dress, and I'm just gonna fold over the top to make kind of a flap of 20 centimeters. And notice that I'm folding it over with the good side on the good side. And turn it over so you can cut off these extra pieces of fabric. Now you can always put your template dress on top of your project just to see if like the size is right. Mine was a little bit too big, so I pinned down like 2 to 3 centimeters from the edge of the template dress and kind of cut off some excess fabric. Alright, so now you've got the good side of your fabric facing towards you again, and we're going to put that strap inside of the flap. I know that sounds weird, but just do the same thing as I'm doing here. Do that on both sides and pin it down. Now stitch the fabric together at the line that I drew out as a red arrow. Now you can turn that flap inside out and you'll see that your straps are attached to it. So here's my failed attempt to kind of show you guys that it's already looking like a dress. Alright, now put the back of your dress on top of the front of your dress with the ugly sides facing each other. Oh yeah, now I turned it around so you could also just put the front of your dress on top of the back of your dress. As you can see, the back of my dress is a little bit bigger than the front now because I altered the front already a little bit when I put on the template dress. And I'm just gonna make sure that those lines match again. Now cut off any excess fabric. Now I've put the back of the dress on top of the front of my dress again, and now I'm just gonna measure out how low I want my open back to be. I estimated it at about 40 centimeters. So put a pin right in the middle of your dress at those 40 centimeters. Now measure 9 centimeters from the top of your dress and put a pin right there, and do that on both sides. Now you're just gonna kind of connect the dots and mark out your open back. Fold the dress in half and then cut on that line you just marked out. Alright, so now that you've cut that out, we have two parts, right? We have the big part, which will be the back of your dress, and like the smaller part, which was the top. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna measure 10 centimeters from the bottom of this part that we just cut off. We're gonna mark it there. We're gonna do that from the bottom of this part and the sides. Now cut out that inner part so that you're left with like a V-shaped piece of fabric. So this is the back of my dress, and the good side is facing towards me. And this is the part we just cut out, of which the like bad side is facing towards me. And I'm just gonna face those two together. As you can see, I cut my V-shaped piece a little bit too short, so I'm going to have to add about 12 centimeters to make it as big as the back piece of my dress. So I'm just going to put it on top of some excess fabric and copy that V shape, but add 12 centimeters extra. Now pin the piece to the back of your dress and notice that the good sides of the fabric are facing each other. Then get distracted by this very sassy corgi who was trying to convince me to go play. Alright, now back to the dress. It's time to stitch these two pieces together. Once they are stitched together, you can kind of turn the flap inside out like this, and now kind of push those two pieces of fabric together like so, and pin it on that line so that the flap will stay in place, if that makes sense. Then stitch on the pinned line right there, and make sure that you pin it really close to the edge, as close as you can. Once you're done, it should look like this, and I'm just gonna cut off this excess fabric. So now we have the front and we have the back. So we're going to put them together, and we're going to put the good sides on top of each other. And kind of match them on the waist. Now once you've matched those two sides together, it's time to pin them together so you can later on sew them together. Once those two pieces are sewn together, it's time to put on your template dress to see if the size is right. Mine was a little bit too big, so I pinned down like the lines of the dress to kind of make sure that it would fit. So I stitched down the line that I just pinned down, and now I'm gonna cut off some excess fabric. Now right here I did a little extra top stitch to kind of stitch down the pieces of fabric so that it would stay in place. So here we have the back of the dress, and what we kind of want to do is we're going to make a lace-up back. So the next step is to make one more like strap like this, like we did before. So by folding over the fabric, measuring it at about 2 centimeters, pinning it, cutting it, and stitching it. So that we have another strap. So here I'm showing you how I do it, but we've done this once before, so you should have no problem doing this again. Now make little hoops of about 2.5 centimeters and cut it off there. You're gonna make about 6 of these. Ignore my nails, by the way. I should have put some nail polish on them, but I forgot, and well, yeah. Now stitch the ends of these hoops together so they kind of look like this. Now pin 3 hoops to each side of your dress evenly. Now you're going to sew that hoop onto the dress by sewing it right on this seam. Now attach a safety pin on your strap and kind of pull it through the hoops like so. As you guys can probably already tell, my straps turned out to be way too short, so I'm going to make them a little bit longer before I move on to the end of this process. Now, because I couldn't really get my existing straps out of my dress, or I would have to like tear apart my whole dress, I decided to kind of just extend them with with 2 extra pieces of strap. And I just made these strap extensions just the same way I made the like original straps. I think in total I have like 180 centimeters now, so yeah. Now I've put the end of the existing strap inside the beginning of the extension strap, and I'm just gonna sew these 2 together. Now it's time to put on the dress to kind of decide how long you want it to be. I want it to be a little bit above my knee, so I pinned it there. I cut off some excess fabric from the bottom just to make it evenly as long everywhere. So I measured the length from the bottom of the dress to the place where I've just pinned. And then I turned the dress around and kind of marked it 3 centimeters below the place where I put my pin. And then I just went on and marked that out as a straight line. And then it's time to cut and zigzag the bottom. I also zigzagged all of the sides of the dress. This is just a really important step to stop your fabric from fraying. Now that I finished off the bottom, I'm going to make the hem, and I pinned it down at 2 centimeters and then stitched it all around. And once you're done stitching that bottom, your dress is finished. So that was it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you were able to do this. I hope that it wasn't too hard. Yeah, I got through pretty nicely, I think. Only I made the straps a little bit too short, which kind of sucked. But yeah, you know, it's a DIY. I'm not a professional, shit happens. So yeah, thanks again for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you feel like it and you want to see more DIYs and sewing projects, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And the last thing I wanted to say was cheers, guys, to this month. I hope that you all have great parties planned or lots of family and friend time. Make the best of it, and yeah, see you on the next one.